All right, everybody. Hey, we're going to be cooking up some dinner lunch here. So what we got is this. We're going to be searing a steak. A lot of people use like New York ribeyes. I'm more of a New York strip guy. I kind of like leaner meat. This meal will actually help you out too if you're vegetarian. We're just going to be talking about some elements of cooking and bringing science into it. Everything you see, we're going to be using. We're going to be cooking with a cast iron skillet. Not a big fan of non-stick skillets. Going to be cooking up some kale. Going to be cooking up some carrots. My wife is on a low carb diet right now, so the potatoes here are going to be for me. You might notice that the potatoes, two of them are purple. These are still potatoes. They just have some beta carotene in them, which is why the color's different. Also too, it gives you health benefits. Going to be doing a red onion. We've got some kosher salt. Gonna do garlic, all right, and black pepper, all right. Gonna be cooking with some salted butter and olive oil. So the first thing we like to do is we like to get these steaks over here to room temperature. So if you bring it on over here, first thing we like to do is bring out the steaks, put them on the plate, get them up to room temperature. It's going to take a little bit. Also too, we're going to start up the oven. If you bring it on over here, I like to roast the oven. Ours goes like this. We're going to put it on bake. We're going to put it up to 425. Perfect. Okay. While that's doing that, we're going to season the meat some. I like to put the salt on first, just personally. What the salt does is, salt is sodium chloride. Sodium chloride is a molecule. Sorry. Now what I like to do, so the salt brings out a lot of the water from the meat. It makes the meat more tender. It helps break down the meat. It also gives like a nice little crust for a sear, which is good. Pepper. Good. Also gonna be doing a little bit of garlic up on that. Garlic is good. It'll make your breath kind of stink, and it'll also make, when you sweat, you'll smell like garlic. But if you're ever hiking or doing sports outside, it's a good thing. Just it keeps the bugs away. So, all right. So we did one side of the steaks. We're gonna pat these. Get that in there. Get that in there. Good. Left hand is touching the meat. Right hand is staying clean. Bringing that over like this. Good. Kind of got inspired to show you guys this video because there's a couple of students we have in class. I had a student we're just going to call Kenzie. Really kind of knows how to cook. Got another student. It's kind of named after a Patriots player. He knows how to cook too. Beautiful. All right, we're gonna let those be for a little bit. We talked about sodium chloride for salt. If you come on over here. Sodium chloride, it's got two elements that combine together to make a molecule. So what you have is sodium, Na, and the periodic table of elements. Around it, you've got two electrons in its outer shell. The next shell, it has 8. And the next shell around it It's only got 1. All right, now chloride down here. Trying to remember for chloride. I think chloride's got 9. Let me check that out on the phone fast. I'm sorry, I think it's got 10. Okay. Actually, nope. I am way off. No, it's got 17. So, yeah, we were both off. So here's how this works with chloride. First electron ring, it's got 2. Change to draw this in better. Second electron ring, it's got 8. Next electron ring, it only has 7. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to put 7 right there.
Perfect.
So what it does is it goes around this way and shares. The type of bond that is called ionic. You'll learn more about that with like chemistry to come. But that right there is table salt. And that's what we put on the meat. We also put it on the veggies too to draw out that water, make it more tender, make it more flavorful. All right, everybody, we're talking here about cast iron skillet. Cast iron skillet is different than a lot of your other skillets. Like it used to be in the back in the day, like 100 years ago. This is what we had. Now, it's made out of iron. You have iron in your blood. So literally, there's nothing in this that is not like inside of you. Granted, this is a little bit more concentrated. But, so, reason I prefer this over more modern pans. A lot of modern pans are non-stick. They use this coating called Teflon. The thing is though, Teflon, if you ever notice, they're like, hey, don't use like any metal instruments with it. Don't use a knife, don't use a fork. So if you go like that to like a Teflon dish, it's bad because it just knocked off all that non-stick coating. It'll put it into your food and then you ingest it. And do you really want something that is chemically altered to be like non-stick like into your body where your body's gonna have a tough time getting rid of that? For the answer for me, no. So I've actually gone back in time to 100 years. I actually use a cast iron skillet more. I know it's, a lot of people are like, oh, it's unscientific. Actually, it's quite a bit scientific. For one, it's heavier because it's made out of iron. The way we season it, we do not season it with, we don't touch soap to it to clean it. The way we clean it, sometimes we put a little bit of water in there, sometimes we use a scrubbing, like metal brush, no soap. Go in there and just get rid of all the grit. We always put a little bit of oil in afterwards. I like to use canola oil, sometimes coconut oil, sometimes bacon grease, okay? Just to get that seasoned so it's got a good shine to it. There is, a lot of people are going back to using it just because it's quite a bit safer. So before, and if you think like not washing it is disgusting, you have to realize that before we actually cook with it, we put it in the oven for about 5 minutes to get it warm. You can do this by putting it on top of the range or putting it in the oven like we're about to do right here. Obviously the one thing is with it, it gets hot, so make sure you're using your mittens to take it out. All right, let's talk veggies real fast. So for one, my wife is on a low carb diet. Now, what this means is this, like, she's gonna be having carrots while I'm gonna be having potatoes. Why? Low carbs, sugar. Like, there's good carbs and bad carbs for you. Your brain runs off carbs, so you do need some carbs in your life. It's just the sort of carbs you get. Carrots here, definitely like a complex carb. They do have some sugars to it, but it's more like a natural sugar. Your body absorbs it pretty well, your body uses it. Okay, very healthy, very good. Loaded with beta carotene, which your body transfers off to retinol, which if you know your anatomy, you have a retina in your eye, it does actually help out with nighttime vision. Potatoes are a complex carb. They are starch, okay? So yes, your body, they break down, your body absorbs that nutrients, but they do it more slowly. If you are an athlete, that sugar that you get from like a sports drink, that gives you instant energy, but it gives you also a crash. Complex carbs, if you're consuming them the day before, they will actually help you out with your athletic event because they give you energy over like a longer time. So say if you got a football long game or like double practices or a basketball tournament where you're gonna be playing basketball games like over a whole day, the day before, try to get some potatoes in you, try to get some other complex carbs, all right? Kale, loaded with vitamin A, all right? Very good for you, very healthy, also got fiber. Vitamin A, you can have too much and it can give you toxicity. That being said, it's a problem most of us will not run into. Onions. Onions, great source of vitamin C, all right? Yeah, and they're delicious, so. Hey everybody, you probably noticed like this setup looks different than before the time warp. I took out the cast iron skillet, which was in the oven for about 5 minutes, and yeah, I just dumped the carrots and the potatoes in there. Also too, any leftover vegetable debris I just put off to the side, like, you know, the tops of carrots, the stalks of the kale, the wrapping of the onion, this one potato that fell on the ground because, hey, 5-second rule, you know, hey, kind of suspect. We have a compost bin at MLC. What compost bin is instead of throwing this in the garbage or the garbage disposal, which takes like effort and at the end you get nothing for it, you can actually put this like leftover vegetable and fruit debris, like mix it with some other compost like dark soil, leaves, grass clippings, and what it does is it churns up and the bacteria, insects and whatnot, they eat it. And what's left over is like this dark, rich, really good soil. So you get something out of like nothing because you were literally gonna be throwing this stuff out. So all you gotta do is just put that in here, put this in a bucket, and then next time I'm at school, I just dump it in the compost bin, which is behind the cafeteria. So right by the fence. This one's getting pretty full, so probably gotta go to school tomorrow and do that. Yeah, now for this right here, we just throw in there the carrots, potatoes, all that sort of stuff. I'm gonna hit this up with a little bit of salt here. I normally don't like using kosher salt for this, I like using table salt. But I got the kosher salt out, so we're gonna give that a try. All right, a little bit more here. Good, all right. Now, I definitely like cooking with the seasoning that we put on the steak, so I'm gonna throw on there a little bit of garlic. Urban myth, garlic they used to say would keep vampires away. It definitely helps keep a little pepper too. All right, then the whole trick is this, olive oil. All right, this is why we get to do this in like one pan. Give a little hit to that olive oil, to the carrot, give it a little bit here. On top of your potatoes, good. Use a fork. This one will do. Remember, this is hot, so we don't touch it. And just give that like a nice little toss to coat. Same thing with the potatoes. You're just looking to get that oil roughly just so it touches like every surface of the potatoes right there. Yeah, get it on there. And the carrots too. Good. Excellent. Good. All right. I'm gonna throw that in the oven now.